In this video, you will understand the importance of getting your house in order. I think a lot of us seem to not really understand what that means, because when we hear get your house in order, we think of the literal sense, X, Y, and Z. But you have to understand that in the godly sense, your body is a temple for the living God. Therefore, everything in your temple needs to be maintained and tidied before anything else. And you can only do that by following Christ and following his instructions. Now, why is it important to make sure that your house, your temple, is in order? And for starters, you have to make sure that you're in submission to the will of God. Like, you're not out here trying to control things yourself or do things your way. No, you have to be in full submission to what God wants you to do. Additionally, having your house in order gives you clarity on what God wants you to do. A lot of us try to move too fast, thinking, oh, what does God want me to do? What does God want me to teach or help people out? Or what is my purpose that God wants me to do? But your house isn't even in order to be or do what you're meant to do. And that's the thing, And the thing is, you have to understand about getting your house in order. It's not just a one-time thing, then you move on. No, getting your house in order is a consistent thing. It's like the gym. I go to the gym quite a lot. I lift up these heavy weights, and I'm in the understanding that if I stop going to the gym, I'm going to lose my gains. I'm going to get fat or I'm going to get skinny. That's just what's going to happen. And it's the same way with getting your house in order. So if you guys think that prayer or walk with God is a one-time thing and then it's done, nah, it's a continuous process. Because you have to understand, as you're on your walk with God, the enemy is going to attack you more ferociously than ever. Every single second. And that's why you have to get into the habit of praying every single second, thanking God every single second, and trying to connect with him every single second, making sure that every action that you do glorifies him rather than your fleshly desires. There should be no desire to satisfy your flesh. There should only be desires to satisfy God. And that way, your house is in order to do and complete the purpose that God wants you to do. For example, I know God put me in the position to inspire, motivate, and lead people. However, I understood with my walk with God that, I need to not be so fixated on what God wants me to do without getting my house in order. So yeah, I know God has designed that for me, but if I don't get my house in order, if I put people first rather than God and my own self-well-being, I am useless to what God wants me to do. I can't complete my purpose. And that's where you see like me not really, having good enough videos to really inspire people or doing the things I'm meant to be doing because my house isn't in order. That's where I'm getting lazy, because I'm not putting God number one. I'm not putting myself number one. That's what you have to understand. All of us have a gift of giving back to people. That's what we're designed to do in the Bible, and whether we like it or not, our purpose will always relate to giving to people. We have to make sure that your house is in order to do that first. How can you love people if you don't love yourself? How can you be patient with people if you're not patient with yourself? And all the other fruits of the Spirit. There's no way you can be beneficial to the kingdom if you're not even beneficial to yourself. And how do you be beneficial to yourself? Submitting to God's will. Only then he can mold your heart. I think a lot of us overcomplicate self-improvement and this rigorous training. And it is training. It is physical work. But the Bible even says that's the spirit that matters more than the physical. So yeah, you could be reading all these books and you could be doing all of this and doing all of that. And that is good. The Bible doesn't say that's bad. However, it becomes a problem when you start to think the spiritual and the physical are on the same level, or if you even start to accidentally put the physical more than the spiritual. I've made that mistake before, and I always try to remind myself not to make that mistake, not to be so caught up on what the physical, too much on the physical, because I know it's important. I know it's important to read and do work and do the physical things that God wants me to do, but the spirit is the foundation. The house that's built on the rock, the house that's built on righteousness will always last. That's what you have to understand. If your house isn't built on the rock, if your house isn't in order, if your house isn't built on righteousness on a consistent basis, it may not crumble immediately, but it will crumble eventually. Like little by little, you'll feel it chipping. And that's why I ended up having a really kind of messed up month in the month of July and stuff like that. But thank God that I'm okay right now. And that's where it's like, be okay with taking a break from your purpose. When you realize you're not being fruitful like you used to be, or you're not being fruitful enough, sit back, humble yourself, and ask God, what is it that I need to do to change? What is it that I need to hear? And naturally, God will start to tell you the different things. Because all of us don't think we have a problem until we ask God. When I asked God what my problems are, I was like, dang, I didn't know that affected me from childhood. I didn't know this was that or that was this. But I thank God, because if I didn't humble myself and allow him to mold me, I wouldn't have seen all the messed up stuff that was making me or preventing me from serving the kingdom properly. I didn't realize how arrogant or selfish or lost I was. I was doing good, but then I was doing bad and falling into sin many single times. And I'm not saying that I'm Mr. Perfect now, because we all strive to be like Jesus and we all fall short of the glory of God. Our faith isn't by works. However, you have to be better than yesterday. Faith gets built over the days. That's what it is. Like, it's the gym. You know, you can't take a break on it. You can't just leave it alone. Because the devil, the more that you come closer to your purpose, the more the devil will trick you out of your spot. The more he will try and make you not believe that you're meant to do what you're meant to do. The more he will distract you, you know. So you got to make sure that before anything, get your house right. And the only way to get your house right is to allow God to mold you. See it as like kind of a project planning type of thing, you know, building a house for somebody. As I said at the beginning of the video, our bodies are a temple to the living God. Then naturally speaking, then you want to ask the person that's going to be living in your body how they want your body to be. What type of design would they like? You know, what would they like to see in this project that I'm building for them? And that's what you have to ask God. What do you want from me? What do you want me to have? And that's what God will say. I want you to have more patience. I want you to be more peaceful. I want you to be less argumentative. I want you to show more love. And that's where he's giving you the things that he wants. You're getting the stakeholders' input. You're hearing what the stakeholder wants. And as you're hearing what the stakeholder wants, now you're building the project to a successful value that's going to be profitable to everybody else. But if you're building a project that you think God wants without actually getting God's input, the house is going to be useless. Yeah, you may have good muscles and a lot of money and things of that nature, but you're not fruitful because you didn't ask God what he wants from you. So that's why it's important. Make sure you get your house in order. Ask God what he would like your house to look like. And then, only then, will your body and temple be profitable to everybody else. And constantly ask this every day. God, mold me to what you want me to be. Show me what you want my body to be like for you. And life gets easier from there. God bless. Take care. I'll see you guys next video.